Okay, yeah, so I guess we can start letting people in. Good morning, guys. Welcome to the team call this morning. Hi,
Hey,
Michael John. Hi, Teddy.
Sydney, do you have the presentation or I need to have it pulled up probably?
Let me share that real quick because
I
I want,
didn't get that.
Oh,
Could you try again?
what is
sorry,
that?
she thinks I'm talking.
Let me share the presentation real quick, and then I'm gonna take over the first few minutes with the company update, Amanda, and then I give it back to you, and then you can share from your screen. How's that sound?
Everything sounds awesome.
Okay, so let me open up the presentation. Go see more deal.
Christmas themed. Yay.
Love it. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Wow, we have so many updates, so I cannot wait to dive over that.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Cool, cool, cool. Or do we want to wait a little bit for people to come in, or we can just go ahead and start? What do you think, Amanda?
We can wait like 1 or 2 more minutes and then just to respect everyone's time, we'll get started. We'll have it recorded. The goal is by the end of this, you'll have a little blueprint. You'll know what to do, why you're doing it. And I mean, the secret is there is no secret. It's super simple. It's just doing the work. So I think this will be really quick and fun.
Awesome. Well,
Have the,
yeah, go ahead, Amanda.
I was gonna say, has anyone already set their goals for 2025? It's like in 2 weeks, it's just crazy.
I know I didn't. That's why I attended this training. Yeah, why don't we go ahead and start? I really want to kick off the meeting every week, with everybody sharing our win. So I know that Sydney, I'm gonna pick on you because I saw some beautiful picture on Facebook. So congratulations on your graduation.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited. Now it's time for 2025. So dive full time into real estate.
Did you graduate debt free or do you have some debt?
Graduated debt free, and that's all because of real estate too. So I'm thankful for that.
That's
Holy
incredible.
moly! Did you guys listen to that? She graduated. She went to college and she didn't accrue any bad debt. How amazing is that?
Thank you.
Yeah, I keep telling people it's hard enough to start from zero. When you go to college, you come out with hundred and thousand of dollars in debt, so you start from negative. That's even harder. So Sydney, congratulations. Good job keeping your finance in check.
Thank you. Good thing I had a finance degree. So
There you go. There you go. Well, I mean, for me, I was me and Eva, we was able to locked in another flip yesterday. We bought it for 145 ARV 230, so not too shabby, not too bad.
That's amazing. What do you think the rehab will be?
Rehab should be about 30 35. So we got some really big spread there, for the profit.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I gotta go, of course, go over the goal setting on the investment side with you guys. So just to show you what we're looking for, keep things focused so that way you can continue to look for deal like that instead of all over the place.
I feel like everyone that I've talked to that's been in real estate at least 2 years, that's their focus is to do that first flip, to get that first investment property. I mean, they see their clients building their portfolios and we're in the business. So I think thank you for including investments.
Yeah, yeah. I always think, yeah, it's good to be on the other side of the table, right? Being a real estate agent is good. But if you see your buying, keep buying and selling, maybe they're doing something that you don't know, right? So it's a good idea to get on the other side of the table and see the math behind it and see why they do it. Well, I know, well, if you're not gonna share, I'm gonna stop picking on people. So I know Sophia recently she's under contract to buy a lot of investment property as well. So Sophia, congratulations.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, our closing is actually in about 2 hours, so very excited
Oh,
for that. So yeah, they have a lease back, but we're trying to figure out if we can at least start working on the exterior and stuff like that, but very excited for it.
Awesome.
That's amazing. When I was in my early 20s, I was not thinking about real estate investments. It was like, how do I pay my rent? And so it's incredible to see you starting so early.
Cool. I think with that said, we can go ahead and dive in. So everybody, welcome to the Team Legacy weekly call today. Before we start, I just want to go over some quick update because I think what we have so many amazing events that is happening with our company. So first of all, Canva, right? So if you haven't plugged into Canva, I just played around with it yesterday, actually this morning. So the way it works, if you already have a Canva account, it will not merge with your Canva account. It actually create another account, and then you can switch between the EXP Enterprise and Canva Personal easily, right? So you can decide to just go with Canva Enterprise, or you can still keep your personal. So I play around with it. There's a whole bunch of template in there. All the color, all the brand is in there for you, to start doing your marketing. So definitely, this is a $500 value per year, and we just now get it for free. So definitely diving into EXP Canva Enterprise. I think this is one of the most added value this week, for the past couple weeks, right? And then the early bird for some of the big event that really resonate with me is Cabo. I know that I signed up, right? Two of the leader in my group signed up. So if you haven't signed up for Cabo yet or know what it is, please visit cabo25.com. We have at my lab there, we have the creative finance guy, Pace Moore be there. Everybody know Tom Ferry and Gary Becker, the health coach is going to be there. So if there's one event that's going to change the trajectory of my career, this is going to be Cabo. And I believe Amanda was there 3 times already, right?
Oh yeah, it's my favorite event of the year. It really is. Like all of them are great, right? You get to learn about the company and all that stuff, but I feel like you're surrounded by all the big hitters, and we always say the secrets are in the hallways. Like I've learned so much by the swimming pool. I feel like that it's just been life-changing. So it's my favorite event for sure. It's more growth oriented. Especially if you've kind of figured out production, it's way bigger than that.
Yep. Yeah. So if you're interested in growth in Asian attraction, definitely you cannot miss the One Big Fine Cabo. This is hands down the single event that changed the trajectory of my career, right? So visit cabo25.com, sign up, and then, me, Thao, and Kai, we're going to see you there. And then EXPCon in Miami, right? Right now, if you buy, the ticket is super cheap. So if you can, I would suggest to buy it now. Now, this year, they do a really cool bundle. You can buy, the Monreal, the Barcelona, the combination of 3 or the combination of 2 for super, super cheap, right? So I believe last year it's like $700 for just one event. If you buy now, it's like $500 for 2 events. Right, so I would definitely, hit the website to hit the website EXPCon, and then I would start buying the bundle. Right, you can just select 2 or 3 bundle, but if you buy now, it's super super cheap. So don't wait until the end of September next year. It's gonna be almost $1,000 again. Right now, you can get it for super cheap, and I have a reason to visit Barcelona. Right, tax deductible trip international. So I would totally sign up for that. So for me personally, I will see you in Miami and I will see you in Barcelona. I never been there. So super, super excited. Cannot wait for that. Yeah. And then for those that is in Houston, save the date for the headshot. For the last quarter, we create a headshot event. This is a very neutral event, for you guys, to show up, right? Have a little wine, have a little cheese, update your picture for the new year. And if you think it's worth it for you to come, please invite all the agents to come, right? This is the chance for me, for your upline to interact with your guests and hopefully, create a conversation to show them how fun we are, how collaborative we are, and then hopefully start the attraction conversation. So set a date for the headshot. It's gonna be, I don't know where, I don't know when yet, but it's gonna be on January 15th. So if you're in Houston, save that, and then we're gonna have an amazing time with the headshot event again. Amanda, anything else to add before we move forward?
I see that you added Sisu on this slide. I don't know if you guys have had Sisu before. I used to pay $300 or $400 a month for it. It's like Trello with automations. So if you like Trello, you will love Sisu. You can use it. There's 2 platforms and they're both included, one for recruiting and one for production. And for us, we've implemented it with our entire team at Cityside Properties to where you can do leaderboards and contests, and it tracks conversion rates of how many phone calls and how many listing appointments you need to go on. And it's really a bird's eye view of your business. So we'll go over like technology and different things that we're going to talk about, but play with Sisu. It's free now, and it's incredible.
So, all right. So now I'm gonna unshare my screen, and then I'm gonna have Amanda lead you on the goal setting for 2025.
Ah. Do you want to start with the investment stuff, or you want to end with that?
I'm gonna end with that. So I know that you have a meeting at 11, so you can just do the production side, and then whatever we're gonna give you a couple minutes, so that way you can get ready for your meetings.
You're awesome. Look at you. Okay, perfect. And we should have some time if you guys have questions. This is going to be just a general, I think by the end of it, you'll know your buckets and your lead gen, and we'll just hit the ground running. I picked my favorite 12. I had 20 and I was like, oh, I need to pick my top 12 on how to, when you've done it for so long. So let's switch to the first slide and we'll rock and roll. Do I do that? Hui, do you have that?
Can you share your screen, Amanda?
Maybe. Go back up. The good news is you don't have to be super tech savvy to be a successful realtor, believe it or not.
Absolutely.
It's loading. I think you had it on the.
Or I can, I can share again if you want.
It says it's loading, but it's not loading. So lame. Okay, yeah, just share, and then I'm just going to read the slide so you'll get to see. You'll know when to switch.
Okay. All right. Let's do that. So let me share again. All right.
Cheers to closing more deals. I wanted to keep it kind of Christmas themed. So we'll first talk about lead generation. I think that a lot of us get our real estate license and we're like, we're going to be great realtors. We love houses. We like investments. And what we don't realize is now all of a sudden we're marketers and we're lead generators and we're social media experts. And there's like videographers. Like there's so many different aspects that goes into running a business like a true business. And so I picked several different topics, but for me, first and foremost, you could be the best realtor in the city. And if you don't have a lot of clients, it doesn't matter because you have no one to work with. No one will know who you are. And so I wanted to, all of these give 3 examples of like real life opportunities of what you could do or different ideas, most of which don't cost anything or really cheap. But the first is lead generation strategies. And I challenge all of you to have at least 3 to 4 buckets of leads coming in. One, of course, is your sphere of influence and past clients, but you need to see what your niche is. Like, what are you passionate about? What are you really into? And so here's just 3 quick examples of different people. One is Jane. She partnered with a local coffee shop and she did like a small business collaboration where she left business cards and offered just a free consultation. She did about 5 leads per month. I've seen where people will come by and they'll pay for the next 10 people's, coffees, and they'll sit there at the coffee shop with their business cards out and they'll, say, hey, thank you for my coffee. And it's just a way to start that conversation with someone new. There's a million different ways to have lead generation ideas. And what I love is, what Hui does to attract a client probably wouldn't work for me. And the people that work with Teddy probably wouldn't want to work with me. And the people who work with me maybe don't, connect well with Sophia. And so all of this will be custom to you and what you click with and what works well with you. Another one is a buyer's workshop. So if you haven't mastered the whole buyer's presentation, we have templates in place for that where you can show up, you can go to a model house, you can go to a local library, and then find a niche. Some people are like, hey, car salesmen actually end up making a lot of great commission and they make great money. Or teachers, they've got such great grants and opportunities for financing. Let's teach a class and educate them on how to buy their first house. And then another one is Nina launched a neighborhood door knock day where she just knocked on the door and said, hey, here's a cute little bag. Here's a swag bag. This is what I'm doing. I'm part of your local neighborhood. I want to bring value to the community. And so try to find high value areas where you could say, hey, this is what I am. Right now, the football schedule is huge. And then this next slide, it's in our team, whenever someone joins, you know, before it was like, hey, make your 40 phone calls a day. And for me, that was like paralyzing because I'm not a natural cold caller. And what I wish I had was someone to say, hey, you know, open houses can actually really generate a lot of leads. Or if you could teach people, you know, TikTok, for example, or if you could create your own relocation program or move up program or builder program or lease buyout program or bad credit program, like pick your favorite program, right? And then educate people on how you're different and how you bring that value. That is going to be huge. I spent 2 years on this Homes for Heroes program, and that generated, I would say, more than 30 closings for me during that time period. So these are just a few examples of different ones that we offer for the agents to pick from. And so I challenge you to kind of look through here and say, hey, I really like this whole investor class or lease to own or social media marketing, and just pick a couple that you will say, I'm going to commit to really doubling down on these. If you don't have lead generation at the beginning, none of the rest of the presentation will matter. All right, Hui, next slide. Sorry. Now you're stuck with me the whole time. I love it. The next is if it's not in your database, it doesn't matter, right? So we want to really be able to track everyone. If you have 5 or 10 clients, maybe you don't need a CRM, right? You're going to have a notebook and a piece of paper, but how do you scale that? How do you leverage that? How do you automate that? And so it's really important to have a great CRM. We were just talking about, you know, we have Chime, we have KB Core, we have Trello, we have Sisu, we have all these different options. The best CRM is the one that you'll actually use, the one that you're most comfortable with, the one that you'll actually take the time to upload your database in and check on people. So here's just a quick example. You know, Mark organizes CRM into categories. So it might be, you know, hashtag first time home buyer, hashtag bad credit, hashtag open house. And that way it's really organized when he goes to follow up. Someone did one where she prioritized A buyers and B buyers and really paid attention to who she needed to focus with, you know, really segment your people. That way it's not overwhelming. And then the last one is Tony followed up with old leads from 3 years ago. I feel like a lot of times we go, oh, they're not interested. And I have the mindset of it's never a no, it's always a not right now. And so just checking in and saying, hey, I know you're not in the market right now, but do you have a friend or family member? Or, hey, do you need an electrician? Do you need a yard guy? How do I bring value to you? And so staying in place and saying, hey, here's an updated market insight. Here's 2 houses down the road that just sold, and just really staying in touch with that old database, because that's really where the gold is. The CRM will help you automate that. All right, third one, switch over.
All right.
Thank you, Hui. Okay, building a personal brand. I know Teddy's on this Zoom and he's like a master at that. He does the whole Nutella spill. And I think it's so cool because when you think about Teddy, you associate that with something. When I think about Hui, I think about investors. You know, when I think about Spanish speaking, I think about, you know, Sophia or Cesar's on here. And so it's really important to find what that personal brand is. So when they're thinking of, you know, the Memorial Villages or the Galleria or whatever city that you're in, they think about you. When they think of EXP, think of me, kind of thing, right? Like, so you're always building that personal brand, and that will go with you no matter where you go. So for example, Lisa branded herself as a neighborhood expert. Her whole thing was she just picked one neighborhood and that's it. She didn't overcomplicate it. She didn't make it crazy. She wanted to be the neighborhood expert of this one little bubble. And she just really honed in on that. And yes, she did business other places and she got referrals, or if they were moving to her bubble, she had to sell their house, but she kept it really simple and consistent. Rachel had a tagline, your relocation realtor. So I know there's someone on here that's, they're the keys to the city, right? And they're like, I have a key to every house, you know, on a Supra, you know, I can have access to anywhere in the city. And so I'll be your key to the city. And so come up with something cute and slogany if it fits your personality type. But, you know, niches like that are really important, because I know in my market, there's over 40,000 realtors. And there's a lot of us. And so it's really hard to stand out, and you really need to know what your 1 or 2 things are rather than, you know, not being able to master anything. And then the last example is Sam, where he does this transparency with no pressure consultations. And the whole thing is just, I'm going to tell you brutally honest what your numbers look like. Should you, resell it? Should you flip it? Should you fix it up? Should you take that cash offer? Should you take the time to paint your walls and clean it up and put it on the market? And people want that authenticity and they want that honesty. And I think that that shines brighter than anything. So his whole thing was just, I don't care, take it or leave it. I'm going to give it to you how you need it. And that's the information you need. And so kind of take the time as you think about your lead generation buckets. You know, who am I wanting to attract? What am I passionate about? What type of people do I want to work with? And what is my personal brand? Next slide. Okay, improving conversion rates. So this is a big one. I was talking to someone earlier in the year and they said they had made like, I think it was like 200 phone calls and they were great on the phone. I mean, I think they set 12 listing appointments on those and they had no listings. So they would go there, they would show up, they would do something for an hour and then they'd come back and they wouldn't have the keys, they wouldn't have the signed listing agreement. And so they did almost everything right, except for the very end part of the closing of the sale. And they didn't have that conversion rate. And so I think mastering that is really important. If you don't know how to do that, teaming up with someone and maybe having a mentor saying, hey, I set this appointment. Can you come on the appointment with me? I'll split it with you. I think that that's really huge. When you go to make your numbers of how many phone calls do I need to make? How many open houses do I need to do? If you're, interested in agent attraction, what is my average conversion rate? If I talk to 5 people, how many are going to tell me yes? So if you have a goal of 20 deals closed and you have a 20% conversion rate, you might have to go on 100 appointments, right? And that's okay because you know your numbers. How many phone calls are you going to have to do to be able to make that 100 appointments? And so kind of backwards engineer whatever number you need and you'll be able to get it. And what I found is you might start with 20 and then you kind of get better in 40, 60, 80. And before you know it, you're at an 80 to 90% close rate. And so if you haven't mastered that, we have script practice on that as well. And I think that that's really important to know your numbers. So here's one. Kevin created a cost of waiting sheet to address the rising interest rate fears, and he boosted his conversion by 20%. If you guys all sold, 10 houses a year, an extra 20% is an extra 2 deals. It doesn't suck. It's not bad. Andrea used video instructions for her new leads, explaining the buyer process. Her warm professional approach improved trust in conversations. I can't say this enough. Before I was like, oh, I don't like to be on video. I don't want to take the time. Social media is not my thing. It's for the younger generation. And what I found is you don't have to spend the time and say, oh, you can trust me. Oh, I care. Oh, I'm going to do right by you. Before they even had that first conversation with you, they already know you. They already feel like they understand you. They already feel like they trust you because they've seen you on video. They've seen your mannerisms. They know what you're about. And so I think, we'll go over lots of things, but I think video is really the most underrated thing as far as time saving goes. It's make the time to do it because it will save you so much time. And then lastly, Mike pre-qualifies all leads using financial questionnaire. How many of you have shown someone 5, 10, 15 houses just to realize that they're going through something and they're not going to be able to buy the house? It's not fun. So really save that time, pre-qualify your buyers, pre-qualify your sellers, make sure they're realistic and they're going to be coachable as well. And that will save you a lot of time. All right, next slide. Client communication. So for you, and me, we all talk differently. We all do business differently and we all communicate differently. And I think it's really important to ask your person, how do you want to be communicated with? Is text easier for you? Or are you a phone call guy? Do you want me to just DocuSign something over and then you review it? Do you want me to email you? You want a group text? Do you want everything to be separated? Because everyone's different, depending on their business and where they are. But overall, it needs to be quick. Unless, of course, I guess if you're in commercial real estate, you guys are like super slow and everything takes forever. But us folks in residential, you need to be fast. And so checking your email and responding quickly and really being on your A game makes a huge difference, because I feel like when people get anxious and they're nervous and they don't know what they're doing, as far as buyers or sellers go, it's because they had a lack of communication or a lack of information. And so giving them that information up front and really being proactive about this is what's going to happen next really makes things easier. So yeah, Amanda responded within 15 minutes to inquiries, leading to faster closings and more referrals. It's an overwhelming amount of think it's like 80-something% of people work with the first agent that they have a conversation with. And so you don't have to be the best if you're just the fastest, which is interesting. But you can use things like Boomtown or BombBomb or any kind of automation to go, oh, I got a hit on my website. Here's a text message. Here's a video. I know he has videos saved. He does all kinds of BombBomb things where he will just, oh, I've got a video for that, and he texts it over, and then they feel like it's personalized. Tim implemented weekly check-ins. They're automated emails with his active buyers and sellers, so they're automatically getting updates of where they are in the process, and being proactive rather than waiting for them to ask you, hey, what's next, or what's going on, or I got this email from the lender, is this okay? Tell them what's going to happen before it happens. And then Clara sent personalized video messages with property updates. This human touch made them feel prioritized, resulting in 5 new referrals. Again, BombBomb, there's Loom, there's so many. The technology is just crazy right now. And so really capitalizing on that to answer fast and then communicate more than you feel necessary will lead to a lot more referrals. Next slide. Leveraging technology. We were just kind of talking about this. So, I think that there's a lot that goes into real estate that people don't realize. I mean, we do it all, and then we have some things on the back end, and that's before things catch on fire and appraisals don't happen and inspections go wrong and the survey guy can't get in the backyard. I mean, things go wrong all the time. And so I think anytime that we can save money or find leverage, it's really important. So leveraging technology is huge. Here's an example where he used Matterport to just said, hey, check out this, go through the house, make sure you like the layout before we go preview the property or before I go show it to you. Priya ran targeted AI Facebook ads for expired listings, generating 8 new seller leads. That's a huge thing right now. And same thing with FSBOs and expireds. You can use, PropStream or Privy, and you can pull all of the data, and then you can do a targeted Facebook ad. And what I found is it's a lot more cost effective because you're providing that data to Facebook rather than the other way around. And then last example is Ron automated calendar bookings to show using Calendly. He eliminated the scheduling conflict and save hours weekly. What Mikey and I have recently implemented is in our email signature, it says book us, and it has book us for a buyer's consultation, book us for a listing presentation, book us for an agent attraction meeting for our team, book us for, a 15-minute, hey, I've got a quick question. Let's hash this out. What would you do in this situation? And our Google calendars are live linked to that. So if someone wanted a quick, oh, I do want a CMA, but I also want to kind of talk to someone and I want to ask some questions and I want to show them my windows in my backyard and see what I need to do. There's not the back and forth where people can lose motivation and get distracted. It's right there. They just click it, they book it, they set it up, and it's ready to go. So if y'all don't have Calendly or something comparable, it's cheap, it's worth it. Social proof and referrals. This is huge for me, and I actually just had this aha moment. Last month, I was doing coffee and collaboration, which once a month we just get together and we all, mastermind. And I think the one before I had like 20 people and the room held 40, and I was really trying to push for people to come. And one of my coaches said, I'm sure whatever you did last month was great, but I don't know that it was great because I didn't see what happened. I don't know what I missed. I need to see a video of what I missed. I need to see a video or a picture of what I missed. I need to see the content of the value that you brought. So I have that social proof that it was worth my time. And I was like, oh, like that was mean, but that was so helpful, right? And so if you are going on an appointment, we talk about all these things that we do on the back end to why we deserve whatever percentage we charge. Show that and educate people on that and do a video on that. Hey, you don't see this, but I'm here with the inspector doing X, Y, and Z, or I'm in this construction site with my hard hat on, or I'm with the surveyors or the civil engineers, and I'm talking about septic tanks, or like whatever it is that you do that is not a day-to-day thing that people take for granted. Do a video on that. And I love this too. Mia did a video testimonial. So she shared the client's story. Hey, the first-time home buyers, this is what they went through. We didn't think we were going to get closed. These were the objections that we had. It was rough and bumpy and hard, and this is how we were able to close. Greg sent a handwritten thank you note to his past clients, including a business card, and then just thanking them. Hey, thanks for the referral. I always tell my clients, I really my business is based on referrals. Thank you in advance for supporting that. And my only goal is to make you a raving fan. So if I have to work a little harder, or you call me a little extra, or I've got to do something, I'm like, oh, sorry to bother you. Just say, hey, I want to make you a raving fan. My only goal is to really make you so happy that you're excited to share my information with other people, and get those referrals. And then lastly, Kelly, I don't, some people think that we're not allowed to do this, but offering gift cards or some kind of a gift or a thank you, it's just positive reinforcement for people sending referrals. So anytime people send me referrals, they'll get like a custom cutting board or something cutesy, or like little coffee mugs with their name on it, or a photo, just something to say, hey, thank you, I appreciate you, this means a lot to me. So that's kind of a double sword on this. Referrals, asking for it, being intentional, because people forget that you're in real estate, and then make sure if you do anything, it's on social media. Growing your sphere of influence. I think this is huge. Everyone who's new probably is waiting for the moment that they're just referral only, and that they're sphere of influence based. We just mailed out all of our Christmas cards, and I was going through my database, and it's amazing how many people I haven't talked to in like 6 months. Like I haven't, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that guy. This person's so incredible, and their kids were so cute, and I just really enjoyed them. I haven't talked to them. It's like you blink and 6 months goes by so fast. So really taking the time to love on your sphere of influence. 2 of them over the last 15 years had changed their address, and I didn't sell them that house. And I did the math on the commission that I lost, and it wasn't fun. So you've already done the hard work of making them love you. Go ahead and stay in touch. So here's a few examples. Michael hosted a neighborhood barbecue where he invited past clients and local business owners. What I love about that is none of those people know each other. The only common denominator they have is you. And so all they're going to talk about is you and the experience that they had with you. So it's really great free marketing. Sarah consistently engaged with her sphere through social media, commenting on their milestones. Happy birthday, congratulations on the graduation. Oh my gosh, your kids are getting so big. Your dog is adorable. And little love taps here and there like that. It's just way more personal than, hey, send me referrals. And then lastly, Jason partnered with a financial planner who started referring clients relocating to the area. So start to think about, what divorce attorneys do you know? What CPAs do you know? What medical doctors do you know that have people moving in and out? I have a friend who's an attorney recruiter. So her job is to recruit attorneys into different firms here and there. That's a good friend to have. And so kind of get strategic and creative on who is in your sphere and how you're going to strategically gift and stay in front of them. Open houses. So this is just best practices. We all do things differently. Here's just a few examples. For me, my biggest aha difference on open houses is I have myself saved as Amanda the Realtor with my photo, and my, my website link is on there and everything. And what I'll do is, yes, you can have them sign in and, do your whole spiel. My only goal is to get their cell phone number and to text them. And so I'll say, oh, you need that? Let me send that to you. What's your number? And it's just like the most awkward 5 seconds of whoever talks next loses, right? Like they've got to go, okay, my number is, and they'll give you their real number because you're standing right in front of them, and you'll send them something and you'll say, do me a favor and save me as Amanda the Realtor. I do this full time and I love being a resource for other people. So if you ever need a yard guy, an electrician, someone to hang your Christmas lights when the appraisal district values your house too high, remember that you've got that realtor in your phone, because 9 times out of 10, they're not going to remember what house they met you at, what your first name was, what your last name was, but they'll remember that there's a realtor in their phone that's a resource that probably has a plumber when they need one. So that's my little aha for open houses. It boosts your conversion rate. Here's a few more examples. Nicole promoted her open house with targeted Facebook ads, door knocking invites, and she got 30 visitors and 6 new leads. Digital ads are huge right now. Neighborhood canvassing is huge. I mean, those neighbors know other people. They want to choose their neighbor. Chris offered a $25 gift card. So, hey, thank you for coming by. We're going to be doing a drawing, which is kind of fun. Incentivize them to actually sign in. And then Amber hosted a twilight open house. So she had refreshments at sunset. She was really targeting the people who had maybe just gotten off work. They're busy professionals. And that was the target market for that buy box in that area. Next slide. Mastering the follow-ups. I see this a lot. They do all the right things. They do the open house. They call that past client, and then they just forget to follow up. Or that person says, hey, how much is my house worth? And they go meet with them. And then they forget to really aggressively stay in touch. And so we have a 3x3x3 where we say 3 touches for 3 days. It's text, email, and phone call. And you have to get them on the phone or text message or something within those 3 days. That's our challenge. The example that they have is Daniel used a 10-day follow-up plan, which was similar, combining phone calls, emails, text messages, and just consistently being in front of someone until they tell you to kick rocks or yes, I'm ready to buy something is the game. Laura used property match alert. So, hey, this house fits your buy box. This is what you've been looking for. People will go back onto your website and start shopping again. And then Alex called leads the same time every single morning to build a habit to follow up. He time blocked and tracked progress. I always recommend doing one in the morning and one in the evening because some people are at work. You hope that they're at work so they can pay for that house that you're trying to sell them. But like Alex was doing, making phone calls is hard. And if you make it a habit and you tie it to maybe another habit, I get my coffee, I make my phone calls. I open my laptop, I make my phone calls. It gets easier. All right, next slide. We're almost done, 2 more. So market expertise. So this is huge. When we're talking about niches, know everything about wherever you want to sell. So I'm in a certain little bubble. I need to know that house that popped on the market two days ago. I need to know the one that 2 streets over was knocked down and is new construction now. And I need to know who the builder was. And so really try to master at least your immediate community. And then people will go, oh, let me ask Amanda because she knows everything that goes on in this neighborhood. Or what I tell people in my MLS is they can't really see what the house sold for. They can see a range, kind of like Zillow will say, oh, it sold between 500 and 550. I'll tell my neighbors, hey, save me. And then when you want to know how much the house actually sold for, what happened, or when the deed transferred, text me and I'll let you know. And they just love having that insider info. A couple examples, Tom published a weekly market minute on LinkedIn, including key stats and price trends. 2 investors reached out. Emily created a seller's guide for pricing in 2024 and passed it out to potential sellers. And just having that resource, you can do that virtually as well. And it's a lead magnet. They have to click and give their information for you to share that with them. And then Raj attended city council meetings to stay informed on new developments and shared them with his sphere. So he just always seemed knowledgeable in his circle. Last one, video marketing. Engaging an audience and increasing your visibility through video content. This is so important. It can be open houses, it can be home tours, it can be new construction, it can be first-time home buyer. I know Tashima did one the other day and I really loved it. She said, I don't know what you're interested in because I'm in real estate and you're not, and I know things and I don't know what's, important to the general public, but I've challenged myself to do 30 videos in 30 days. So please message me a question and I will respond with a video of that topic. And before she knew it, she knew exactly what people were interested in and what they cared about. And she had 30 small topics to do 30 videos. And those people were engaged because they were waiting for their video to pop up. That's brilliant. Here's a few examples too. Tina filmed weekly neighborhood spotlights. So it would be, this is how it feels to live in the neighborhood. Here's some parks, here's some homes, here's some businesses. Reach out, interview local businesses, pop by the parks, anything that you can show, because a lot of people are relocating from other places and they might see the house, but they don't know the neighborhood. They don't know what's really going on. They don't know how it feels to drive up to that house. Anthony used video walkthroughs for listings, saving time for buyers and sellers. I think that's incredible. I know Sophia's done that quite a few times and they're all just beautiful and high end. And anything you do for a client, you can turn around and double dip and have that on your YouTube and your TikTok and your shorts. And then Sophie filmed a Q&A series addressing buyer concerns. What is escrow? What's a first-time home buyer? What are the interest rates? What is a cap rate? What would be a good investment? What should I look out for my first flip? Anything that's a common question, pop it on there. And then this is my last slide. For me, I meet with agents and, either they think that real estate's easy or they don't realize how complicated and chaotic it can be. I feel like, we work really hard and sometimes we have to make calls and have uncomfortable conversations and do things that aren't easy. And it's really easy to forget why we started. And I think knowing your why gets you through that. So track everything and remember why you started. And I have a little practice thing for y'all to do, and then I'll pass this over to Qui. So if y'all have a pen and paper or a keyboard, or you want to kind of just do this through your head, why did you get into real estate? Like why real estate? Because we all are smart folks here. We could be doing anything we want. Why real estate? Why do you want to be successful in this? And then write down, what are your goals? It can be, I want to sell this many houses. I want to make this much money. I want to buy this certain thing. What is your, why are you on this meeting? Your goals. And then a question to that answer is, for what purpose? Okay, once you have that, why is that important? Okay, once you have that answer, this is just like digging deep, right? What will that give you? And then lastly, whatever that gives you, what would that mean to you? And we talk about in coaching, you know, sometimes buyers and sellers don't really know why they're about to do the most stressful thing they'll probably ever do, right? They don't know why they're moving. They think that they know, but really there's a deeper level of why they're doing it and what it means to them. Does anyone want to share what answer they started with of why they thought that they were in real estate and on the Zoom versus what they really want, like where they started and where they ended with? What answers?
I'm gonna stop picking on people. Let's see who I should pick on. Caesar.
Hey, Hui.
Hey, if you don't mind sharing, that would be great.
Well, for me, my biggest why is just to be free, to have freedom. I don't like people, formerly in my corporate career, I did well, but I hated having to answer to the man or having a boss. And so for me, the biggest thing is freedom. And so, I have big goals, financial goals to make a lot of money. So I used to call it FU money, right? So, so that I can do what I want, when I want, with whoever I want, and not have to look at the right side of the menu. It's like, how much is it? It doesn't matter. We can afford it, and so that's my big vision of, doing extremely well in real estate, is so that I never have to worry, if we're in a convention and, hey, let's rent a yacht, let's rent a yacht. You know, I want to be like Jeff Whitespear and Amanda, it's like, so that's what drives me. And of course, from my music background, I really want to build a recording studio. And so I really got to get laser focused on that, and have real estate as my vehicle to help me get there. I really want to get back to recording and all of that. Not as I'm not trying to get famous at 50 now, but just because it's what I love to do. I enjoy it, and I would do it for free, and I really want to get back to that. So that's kind of my big why. And of course, my family, and along with that, being able to provide that kind of lifestyle that, money is not an issue. It's just, you want this, get it, that we can always afford it, so
love
that's my big why.
And that's so much cheaper than, I want to sell 5 houses or I want to sell 50 houses, right? Like I want that.
Yes.
I can see that music studio and I can see me going to that fancy place. I can see myself on that yacht. So if you have a messy closing or you've got to make that phone call, or that one client is such a hassle, it's so much easier to power through because you know exactly why you're doing it.
Yes, and it's funny because as I'm thinking here, of course, I'm always multitasking. I'm thinking of this client that they want to buy a house. I'm like, oh, this client's kind of a nightmare. But you know what? We got to swallow it, and we got to help him. And but one thing I might add, Amanda, and again, always thank you for allowing me to be part of your community, is that sometimes we have to make the tough decision to fire some clients, just for our sanity. I had that experience about a month and a half ago. I had a referral, a pre-qualified client for a $500,000 house, already mortgage qualified and everything, literally on a silver platter. They knew exactly what house they wanted, but they were a nightmare. And I said, you know what? I'm sorry, I cannot help you. We're not a good fit. And I gave it back to the lender. That helped me a lot, because mentally it wasn't worth it. So just thought I'd add that.
That's awesome. Thank you, Cesar.
Yeah, I really like this question, Amanda. Even for me, and then especially if you learn how to ask this question for the client, and you're gonna uncover a lot of things. So it's like uncover each level, like peeling the layer of the onion. So this is my takeaway for today.
Yeah, like for me during COVID, I moved from inside the city to just outside the city, to the burbs, I joke. And if he would have asked me before, he'd be like, oh yeah, I want a bigger backyard, or I'm bored with this house. But like really digging through, it was something that I wanted to provide to my children and the memories, and like my kids playing at the end of the cul-de-sac and then playing with other kids and Halloween. And like it was so much more to where I wanted to go find my own house, right? Like if I wasn't a realtor, I wouldn't wait around for someone to send me a house. I wanted that so much that I would go find my own house. And then the realtor's job would then be to facilitate and make sure that you get the house, because the buyer is so focused on what that would mean to them. So this is great for buyer's consults too.
That's the takeaway for me today. Thank you, Amanda.
Awesome. Thanks, Wee.
All right, okay. So with that said, I'm gonna just take over and share you guys a little bit about the exercise that I do every year. So it's called the personal investment philosophy. So just like Amanda said, we need to focus, right? Everybody, especially investor, especially if they're new, they are looking all over the place. So every year, I would, personally sit down with you or yourself, right? Do the exercise yourself if you are getting into the investment, or do this exercise, with your client. So that way, you can kind of narrow down what they are really looking for and what they are focused on, right? And this is not like, you do it and then you have to stick to it. If your personal, if you, it can change every year or it can change every month, right? So let's say, let's just start with today. I need to done for this year, and you can just write down as of December 17, this is me, Hui, and my personal investment philosophy is visually represented as follow, right? Are you looking for income? Are you looking for growth equity, right? Maybe if you are in the beginning stage, if the only thing you do in real estate, you might be looking for income, right? But maybe if for a doctor, for a dentist, for anybody that already have, a stable job of income, maybe the objective is going to be different from you, right? They're looking for the growth equity. So take the time about this question, use a star, and then kind of place it, somewhere on this slide that would fit either you or your client, right? So let's say for me right now, since I'm in real estate for a while, right, we have a significant income from EXP coming in. I might shift my star a little bit here, to kind of look over to get some equity instead of just income, right? But I'm a cash flow guy right now. Just gonna place this in the middle for now, right? And then your risk tolerance, right? The investment, real estate need to work for you, right? You don't work for real estate. So if buying something in the ghetto would make you lose sleep at night, I wouldn't do that, right? So what is your risk tolerance, right? Do you want control? Do you want less control? Do you want to buy only in like A+ area, or you can be a little bit more aggressive, right? Can you handle issue? Can you handle problem that coming up, right? For me, just because I work in real estate all the time, I run into all kind of issue. I'm okay with being more aggressive in my investing, right? Because I know that when issue come up, I'm gonna have people around that help me fix it. I'm gonna have people around that help me solve problem. I have my lawyer, I have my CPA. So, along the line, when you just started, maybe you conservative, you go more aggressive. Or I know some people, they take a lot of risk in the beginning, and then as they grow older in their investment career, they move toward conservative, right? So really totally up to you. Let's say for me, I just gonna put myself somewhere around here. Yeah. And then single family house, right? Most of us here, we get familiar with single family house, but there's another world out there, with commercial building. So what do you like? What resonate with you? For me, I make my work in real estate single family home. So I think next year, more than likely, I'm gonna still stick with single family home, right? Hopefully I get an opportunity to get into some larger building later, right? And then and then this is the common one, right? The duration of the investment. Do you want buy and hold all the way out here? Or you need flip property, right? This is fast money and this is slow money. Yeah. So right now, our goal, we still flip property, about 2 to 3 property a month. We still very much heavy on the flipping this year going to next year. So I personally gonna place my star around here, right? But I think for a lot of people, especially for your client, if they're looking for buy and hold, right, their star is gonna be over here, right? Your buy box is gonna be way different if you're over here rather than over here. And you can have multiple buy box, right? So you can feel free to move the star around. right? Lower end or prime ownership, right? Although I like cash flow property, I actually cannot handle, let's say, Trinity Garden or Sunnyside. It's just a lot of theft, a lot of problem there that you have to deal with. So actually, for me, all those I like cash flow. I like, to look at my house and I like to be proud of it as well. So I'm gonna place my star somewhere around here, right? When I buy a property, I want to be proud of it. So I'm gonna put the prime ownership around here. Right, personal or professional, right? So this is totally up to your time, right? If you personally manage all your property, you can have more cash flow, but your time is gonna get less and less. And if you go all professional, right, you're gonna have less cash flow, but in exchange you have the time. Totally up to you and your client. I would place myself, somewhere around on this line. I still personally manage a lot of my short-term rental, but a lot of my long-term rental has been professionally managed, right? So eventually I want to gear toward professional management, so that way I can free a lot of my time over here to focus on more stuff, right? And then neighborhood or worldwide, right? A lot of people, they get comfortable investing out of state. Let's say for me, personally, I like to see my stuff. So I'm like way over here when it comes to neighborhood, right? If I can buy a house, like two house down the street, I would totally do it. So this is yet me and my personal investment philosophy, right? So do this exercise for you, do this exercise for your client. You're gonna have a good discussion and you're gonna uncover a lot of stuff, right? And then as of December 17, you're gonna write down your personal real estate investment philosophy, right? So let's say, for example, I'm gonna say, as of today, let me move this up a little bit. Right, I am focusing on cash flow property with a little bit of appreciation. I don't care if the home value goes up and down, as long as the rent is covering the mortgage and I don't have to spend a whole lot of time managing the investment. It is a great deal to me. All right, yeah, it could be simple like this. How many of you think that you can do this or have your client do this, right? So that way it's kind of, you can print it out, put it in front of, your office. It can kind of guide you to that year, right? So that way you stay focused and you don't, start looking all over the place, right? And then you can get even more specific, right? So let me see if I can copy and paste this. Oh, how do I do that? Okay, here we go. Move this. There you go. Okay, so you can get even more specific for this year. So let's say, my specific strategy for this year, given that my investment philosophy is above, what is the strategy to, attend it? So you could say something like, let's say, I'm gonna make this up as I go, guys. As of today, right? I will still focus on flipping home. I need to be specific, right? We need to buy 3 homes a month. We need to flip 3 homes a month. And let's say where it's come from, right? We will source the deal from HAR, right? Wholesaler, maybe taking Jeff out for lunch, right? You guys know that Jeff have a lot of home for sale, right? So maybe a strategy of yours to just take him out for lunch every month and remind him that you buy house, right? Let's say, oh, my deal need to have the ARV of less than 300, right? DOM under 30 days, because the longer it stay on the house, it's gonna suck, right? We don't want to flip any home with ARV over 30, over $300,000. So it's specific enough so that way your wholesaler know what to give you, right? And then I can say that during the process of sourcing deal, if I see the number work for Burr, I will not flip it. I will rather burr it. Keep it and burr it. Okay. All right. Okay. There you go. Yeah. Anybody have any question? You guys falling asleep? Let me just start sharing my screen over here. Let me see. So I can see you. Oh, everybody fall asleep? I know this stuff is boring, guy, but it's important. So if you have that exercise, you do it every year, it's gonna help you and your client a lot, focusing on finding the right property for you. All right. Any question, Cesar?
No, all good. This is very eye-opening because this, I have it in my head what I want to do, but actually quantifying it, and I love the stars, the quantifier,
Yeah,
where
so
you want to be.
let me share with you the PDF so that way you can download it. Personal investment philosophy. Yeah, it's actually from a really good podcast that I listen to weekly. So y'all can download it here and y'all should listen to the podcast as well. It's
Yeah, I made a note of that. I saw it at the bottom of the
yeah. So I just tap the link to everybody. And then the last thing I wanted to say before we leave is that I think Amanda spent a tremendous amount of time, telling us how to generate lead, how to get the income, right? But I felt like, the first and foremost job of an investor, you guys need to keep track of your equity and you need to keep track of your debt. I don't see people do that enough, right? You would focus on your income, and then, that is just one part of the equation. That is making money. I feel like all the realtor that I talk to, nobody focus on the second part, which is keeping money and multiplying money, right? So please do me a favor, write these 3 questions down. It's really important for your career, right? Every year you need to learn, you need to know exactly how much equity do you have, right? How much equity do you have in your personal home? How much equity do you have in your EXPI stock? We all get stock here at EXP. How much equity that you have on all your investment, right? And then how much good debt do you have, right? The good debt is the one that you want to try to get more, right? The one that you have, your tenant paying off the debt. How much good debt do you have? How much good debt that you pay off that year, right? How much that good debt go into the equity, right? So those numbers that you need to keep track of. And especially, it's going to relate to a lot of people is, and we don't want to talk about it, is how much bad debt do I have, right? What is a car note, that I buy my expensive car that I have to pay for it? Nobody's paying for it but me. If I stop working, that debt is going to become a problem. Those are bad debt, right? So these are car note, credit card, any kind of bad debt that you accumulate over the year. You need to have a plan to eliminate it. It does not matter how much money, how much commission you bring in. If you keep this thing go unchecked, especially your bad debt, it's gonna spiral out of control. And I can guarantee you can be an icon agent. You can look like $1 million when you walk on the street. But if you don't have this thing under control, at the end of the day, you have nothing to show for. So those are the three questions that I want you to really sit down and ask. I'm gonna repeat again. It's so important. How much equity do you have? How much bad debt do you have? And how much good debt do you have? What is your plan to eliminate bad debt? What is your plan to increase your equity? And what is your plan to increase the good debt, right? I would love to have $5 million in good debt, because I know that the $5 million in good debt is backed by probably a $7 or $8 million of asset, right? So those are good debt. You want to accumulate those debt, not the bad debt. Okay, well, I hope that will help. And yeah, thank you, Janet. Thank you for the comment. But yeah, I think with that said, I'm gonna let everybody go. We are finished right on top of the hour, and I cannot wait to see you again. I'm not sure if we have one next week yet. We will see, but Christmas is getting close, so if I don't see you again, have an amazing holiday, have an amazing Christmas, and I see you soon. All right, bye guys.
Thank you, Hui.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.